All right, so you're thinking about moving to Japan. Awesome. But let's talk about one of the trickiest parts, finding a place to live. Today, we're going to break down how to rent an apartment using a real experience from someone in Nagoya as our guide. This is the practical, step-by-step walkthrough you'll actually need. Let's dive in.
So yeah, you're moving to Japan. It's going to be amazing, right? But one of the very first things you got to figure out is, where are you going to live? We're not talking about the fantasy version. We're going to get into the real story of finding a home, the good, the bad, and all the paperwork in between.
Okay, first things first. The biggest challenge you'll probably hit right out of the gate, especially with private rental agencies, is the cost. I mean the initial cost. It can be a serious moment of sticker shock when you see just how much cash you need to have ready before you even get the keys. Let's break this down, because this is where your wallet really takes a hit. First, you've got key money, or reikin. Think of it as a non-refundable gift you just give to the landlord. Yep. Then there's the deposit, the shikikin, which is usually 1 or 2 months' rent. Then you add a brokerage fee to the real estate agent, a cleaning fee before you've even made a mess, plus other little things, and suddenly you're looking at a huge pile of money.
And it's not just about the money up front. A lot of these rental contracts lock you in for 2 whole years. So if something changes and you have to move out early, well, you could face a pretty hefty penalty, and you might even lose your entire deposit. It's a financial risk you really need to know about going in.
So you're looking at these high costs and these strict contracts, and it can feel kind of daunting. But here's the good news. This is where you hit a fork in the road. It turns out there's another way to go, a path that can make this whole thing way easier, especially if you're a foreigner.
And here are the two paths, right next to each other. On one side, you've got the private agencies, with all those fees we just talked about. Plus, let's be real, some landlords are just not keen on renting to foreigners. But then look at the other side, apartments. The difference is night and day. Lower initial fees, no key money, no brokerage fee, and a process that's built to be foreigner-friendly. This is a total game changer, honestly. Going the route can save you a ton of money and a whole lot of headaches. So let's get into the nitty-gritty. Here's exactly how it works, step by step.
The first part is surprisingly simple. You can actually start hunting for apartments on the website before you even land in Japan. You find a few you like, book a visit with a local office, go see the places, pick your favorite, and then you reserve it. That's it. Pretty smooth, right?
Of course, picking your favorite place usually means making a few compromises. And this quote is just a perfect, real-life example. You might have this dream list of things you want. Maybe it includes one of those super fancy Japanese toilets. But you've got to balance what you want with what's actually available and in your budget. Now, a few pro tips for when you go to actually see the apartments. First, they're usually on weekdays, so you might have to take a day off. And get this, actually pays for the taxi to the apartment from their office. You got to find your own way back, but still, that's a pretty sweet deal. And pay attention to the little things, like how much sunlight a place gets. That was a deciding factor here. Okay, so once you say, yes, this is the one, bam, the clock starts ticking. You have exactly 7 days to get that apartment reserved. That week is your window to get all your official documents together, and trust me, you're going to need that time.
And that brings us to the next big phase, the paperwork. Let's call it the final boss battle of apartment hunting. This part is all about being organized and knowing that, well, you're going to have to do some waiting.
So here's the checklist of everything you'll need. It looks pretty standard, but there's one thing here that can really trip you up, that proof of income form. has its own special form, and your company has to stamp it with their official seal. Now, if your company's main office is in another city, getting that form back can take a week. So lesson number 1, get that form to your HR department on day 1. Seriously.
Another super important document is your juminhyo, or proof of residence. You get this at your local city hall. And here is a piece of advice that will save you a massive headache later. You have to give the original to So when you go to City Hall to register your address, ask for 2 or 3 extra copies. Just do it. You will thank yourself later, I promise.
So let's lay this all out. Week 1, you find your place and immediately get that income form over to HR. Week 2, you go to your appointment to get all your documents checked. After that, you wait about 4 business days for the final okay. And then, by week 3, you're finally signing the contract and getting your keys. All in all, you're looking at about 3 weeks from "I'll take it" to move-in day.
And this quote right here, this says it all. This is the big takeaway. Even when you found the perfect apartment, it's going to take 3 weeks to actually move in. The person in this story had 4 weeks total,
which is cutting it really, really close. So the lesson is simple. Start looking for a place as early as you possibly can. So, after all the searching, all the paperwork, all the waiting, you finally made it. You've reached the destination. It's time to pick up those keys and start this new chapter of your life.
The last few things are pretty easy, actually. You go to one more appointment, sign the final contract, and they hand over the keys. It's a great feeling. After that, you just have to call the utility companies to turn on your gas and electricity, and UR even makes that simple by giving you a list of who to call, and they actually set up the water for you. Nice.
And just like that, you've done it. You've navigated the whole system, signed on the dotted line, and you're officially moved in. Congratulations! You made it!
So, the door to your new home is open. A whole new part of your adventure in Japan is just beginning. The question isn't where will I live anymore. Now it's what's next?